Good evening to you all. Today, we're going to talk about the 9th episode on Surah Al-Anaam. And that was our argument which we gave to Abraham against his people. We raise in degrees whom we will. Indeed, your Lord is wise and knowing. Actually, we ended the last episode with this verse, but I brought it up again so we can connect it to what comes next, because everything here is going to be about Prophet Abraham. In fact, God is speaking about himself using present tense pronouns, like our argument, we gave, we raise, we will. All of this, he is speaking about himself in the first person, and we granted him. That's why I brought up the previous verse, to connect these matters together. And we granted to Abraham, the pronoun him here refers to whom? To Abraham. And we granted him Isaac and Jacob. Each we guided. And Noah we guided before, and from his descendants. Pay attention to the phrase from his descendants. We'll talk about that pronoun in a bit, because they're not sure whether it refers to Abraham or to Noah. And from his descendants, David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. And thus do we reward those who do good. All right, what does verse 84 mean? It means that God is saying that he granted Abraham or provided Abraham or gave Abraham his son Isaac from his wife Sarah, of course. And to Isaac, what did we give him? We gave Jacob as well, meaning that's the son and that's the grandson. Isaac is the son of Abraham, and Jacob is the son of whom? The son of Isaac. And God is saying that he honored Isaac and Jacob with what? With prophethood, exactly. And also, up to what point? All of them we guided. Then he starts to say, and also Noah. So, the story of Prophet Abraham is now, what? We've started something else now, another prophet. Meaning, we gave Abraham, that's the previous verse. Or, we granted him, that was our argument which we gave to Abraham, not just that. Not just the argument, no, we also granted him, Isaac and Jacob. All right, that's it. Abraham. Noah guided before. Pay attention to what? To the context, so you can fully understand the topic. Before Abraham, we guided Noah. All right, got it. And from his descendants, who else? David. And then we granted David Solomon, just like we gave Abraham Isaac, and Isaac fathered Jacob as well. We granted Noah David. And who did David father? Solomon, and also, yes, from his descendants, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. Very nice. Now here, the source says that the word from his descendants, the pronoun here. Some people, or some scholars, say that it refers back to Abraham, since the discussion is about him. And some people say no, it refers back to Noah, because he's closer to the pronoun his descendants. All right, so what do we have here? We have two opinions. Who is the source that says this? It's Jami al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran by al-Tabari. All right, so that was the meaning. The truth here, folks, is that for the second time, God is speaking about himself using the first person pronoun. We granted, we guided, which are the words in red here. And then again, we guided is mentioned, and before that, and from his descendants, David and Solomon. And these things as well, and likewise, we reward. All of this is in the first person pronoun, because after that, in the next verse, someone will speak about him using the third person pronoun. And what does and from his descendants mean? Here, we don't really know if the descendants refer to Noah or to Abraham. And from his descendants, meaning Zechariah, John, Jesus, and Elias, all of them are among the righteous. Very good. What does this mean, from his descendants? whether it's Noah or Abraham, Zechariah and John, the son of Zechariah, and Jesus, the son of Mary, and Elias, the brother of Moses. All of these are righteous people. Very good, meaning that God made, from the descendants of these prophets, or from his descendants Abraham or Noah, he made all these righteous people from their lineage. Oh, of course. To be honest, for 3 in this verse and the next 2 or 3 verses, what did I do? I referred to Lubab Alto of Faimani al Tanzil by Al-Khazin because he just adds names as well, yeah. And from his descendants also are Ishmael, Elisha, Jonah, and Lot, and all of them we favored over the worlds. All right. So here, actually, 86 means that also from his descendants, whether it's Noah or Abraham, is Ishmael. And it's well known that he is the son of Abraham, naturally, and then there's Elisha, Noah, Jonah, and Lot. And all of them, what? We favored over the worlds, meaning the people of their own time. So, we favored them over the people of their era, not over all people everywhere, you know? Because after that, you have Prophet Muhammad coming. That's the point. So how could we favor these over Prophet Muhammad? That's the story. All right, so here as well, who is it? Who is this? The source. We also have with us Lubab Auto of Faimani al Tanzil by Al-Khazin, because we're just listing names. All right, fine. 87 says, and from their fathers, their descendants, and their brothers, we chose them and guided them to a straight path. That's verse 87. What does this mean? From the fathers of the prophets we just listed, those 18, and from the sons of those prophets, and from the brothers of those prophets, God chose them. Yeah. What? From their brothers, fathers, and sons, he chose some of them to the true religion. Some of them, not all. Because, naturally, Jesus and John had no descendants, and his son was a disbeliever, so he wasn't chosen. So we're still dealing with the essence of interpretation. I'm sorry, the essence of interpretation in Meanings of the Revelation by Al-Khazin in the last 4 verses, 88. So what does he say? Let's start now. Here we go. That is the guidance of God. He guides with it whom he wills among his servants. And if they had associated others with him, all that they used to do would have been in vain. Very good. Here, in fact, he says the meaning is that God chose those previous 18 prophets or those 18 messengers and honored them with prophethood, which is the guidance of God by which he guides whom he wills. He gave them prophethood and chose them to be prophets. But still, despite their high status in being prophets, if they had associated partners with their Lord, all their deeds would have been nullified. Meaning, what does that mean? Do you realize how, if they weren't prophets, all their deeds would be what? All of them would be nullified. They would just be ordinary people and would be held accountable for every single thing. All the acts of shirk they might fall into. All right, that's clear. Who's the source here? It's Asar al-Tafasir by Abu Bakr al-Jazari. In truth, God here as well. Now we've started. Why have we started? Because it says God's guidance, not that he guided us. No, God's guidance here, it's talking about God in the third person. He guides, same thing. He guides whomever he wills. But the question in this verse is, even if they committed shirk. Honestly, one of the things I'm not comfortable with are the words if, when, in, and perhaps in the Quran. Why? Because it says, if they had committed shirk, it would have been nullified for them if they had committed shirk. That's the conditional verb, and that's the result of the condition. But you don't know whether they will commit shirk or not. If God knew, he wouldn't say if, he wouldn't use it. If those to whom we gave the book, wisdom, and prophethood, who are those people? the 18 prophets we just listed. You get it? So if these people disbelieve in it, we have entrusted it to a people who will not disbelieve in it. Very good. The discussion is in verse 89 here. What does that mean? It means that God gave the 18 prophets the book, wisdom, and the message, those ones you saw. So if Quraysh disbelieved in this message, then we have honored or bestowed it upon the people of Medina, meaning they are the ones who will believe in it, the ones referred to as a people whom we have entrusted with it. Who are these people meant by a people? The people of Medina. Some said, no, it's the angels. So if the disbelievers of Quraysh and Mecca did not accept the message that we sent with those 18 prophets, that means the angels would believe in it. Who is the source here? It is the Tafsir al-Kabir by Imam al-Tabarani. Notice here that we have shifted after talking in the previous verse about God in the third person pronoun. We shifted to God speaking about himself in the first person. We gave God pay attention, for we entrusted to God. I hope you notice this back and forth situation. Every verse differs from the other in terms of the guarantee. Here, it's talking about. Here, someone is speaking about God. Here, it is God himself who is speaking. Here, someone is speaking about God. And then God speaks about himself, and so on. All right, that's just in the last 4 or 5 verses. Here, it's the same story, like the previous if example, meaning if they had associated others, their deeds would have been nullified. Okay. Here, it says, if they disbelieve, here, it is just like before. If these people, those in Mecca, disbelieve in it, the people of Mecca and all of that, so if they disbelieve, all right, so, does God need to use the word if or when just because he says so if? So if they disbelieve, their deeds would be nullified. Sorry, no, let's go back again. We have entrusted it to other people whom we have honored, whether they are the people of Medina or the angels. Would the angels believe in it if those people rejected it? So, does God not know whether the people of Mecca or the disbelievers of Quraysh would believe in the message he sent with those prophets or not? That was really the question. Those are the ones whom God has guided, so follow their guidance. Say, I do not ask you for any reward for this, it is only a reminder to the worlds. Very good, right here, honestly. Hamza and Al-Kisai used to recite it as Ethe Bihudaha Miktadi without the extra letter, without Al-Hadi, just Ethe Bihudaha Miktadi. With a kasra under the ya, under the dal, just to make it clearer. All right. Very good. I hope it's clear for you all. And let's put everything back the way it was. Very nice. So here, that was the recitation and what it means. What does the verse mean? Oh God, he says to him, O Muhammad, follow the example of the prophets and believers. 18 countries. Follow their example in word and deed, and take their laws into account regarding faith, monotheism, contracts, and all of these things. And say, O believer, say, O Muhammad, tell the polytheists that I am not asking you for any reward for this call of mine, except that you be guided to the true religion. And my call isn't just for you alone, no, it's for all people. Who is the source here? It's Al-Jawahir al-Hizn fi Tafsir al-Quran by Al-Falabi. All right, fine. Notice here that we've also shifted after talking about the previous verse. God was speaking about himself in the first person, and now he started saying the guidance of God. So now someone else is speaking about God. Are you following? See the verse? Those are the ones whom God has guided, not those whom we have guided. No, it's God's guidance. So what does it mean here that the pronoun used to talk about God is now the third person pronoun? And they did not value God as he should be valued when they said, God has not sent down anything to any human. Say, who then sent down the book that Moses brought as a light and guidance for the people? You make it into sheets, showing someone hiding much, and you were taught what neither you nor your forefathers knew. Say, God, then leave them to play in their vain discussions. The truth is, there are two readings here. The first reading. Some people say, pay attention to the words that are highlighted in red and the words that are in the other color. Actually, I even copied and pasted it here for you. There is a group that reads it with the not Tajalunaha, but rather they read it as Yajalunaha, Yabdunaha, and Yukfun. Why? So that it matches what comes before it, which is Ma Kadarolaha and Ma Anzalalahu. There's another group. In fact, they read it with the first person pronoun, which is found in the Quran, Tajalunaha, Tabdunaha, and Tukfun, so that it matches what comes after it, which is, you were taught, you know, and you, of course, that's the second person pronoun, and your fathers, you, this is the verse. These are the two groups regarding the recitation. Let's go back to the text again and ask, what is the reason for the revelation of this verse? The prophet asked about the reason for its revelation. That is, the prophet asked a Jewish rabbi named Malik ibn al-Dayf. He said to him, there's nothing in the Quran that says God hates or dislikes the esteemed rabbi. Then the whole verse was revealed, the one you're seeing here, all of it, clearly. So the man got very angry and said to him, God has not sent down anything to any human being. Which is what? It's the part in red here. So this entire verse that you see was revealed, and they did not give God his due respect when they said, God has not sent down anything to any human being. It's almost like the prophet or God took those very words from Malik ibn al-Dayf's mouth and made them into a verse, you see? So he tells him, now ask him, say to him, who sent down Moses with the scripture? Of course, some people say that God commanded the prophet to direct this question to the polytheists. And there are other people who say, no, this question is actually directed at the Jews and Christians. He said to them, O Muhammad, who sent down Moses with the Torah? You see? And then after that, you turned it into scattered books, revealing some parts and hiding others, especially hiding the parts that contain the descriptions of the sign, the Prophet Muhammad, and he said to him, O Muhammad, you answer them. Tell them, our Lord is the one who sent down Moses with the scripture. And then what? Yes, leave them. Let them wander blindly in their misguidance. So, who was this referring to? The source here is Al-Tibian, the comprehensive explanation of the sciences of the Quran for the description. Here, actually, pay attention, the discussion about God uses the third-person pronoun, and they did not appreciate God as they should. If it were God himself speaking, he would have said, and they did not appreciate me, or did not appreciate us. But here, it also says, when they said. So the Quran is quoting the words of the polytheists or the Jews, specifically Malik ibn al-Dayf, when it says, when they said. So the statement is attributed to them, not to God, nor to the Prophet. When they said, God has not sent down anything to any human being. This was explicitly said by Malik ibn al-Dayf to the Prophet. The Prophet took it and included it as part of the verse, or God included it as part of the verse, and then the Prophet conveyed it afterwards. So here, the discussion about God is in the third person pronoun. Here, actually, there's a question. The question is, does it say they did not appreciate God as he should be appreciated? Is God in need of, or waiting for, appreciation from the polytheists, the Jews, or any human being, whoever they may be? I mean, this was actually a very serious question. Is God's worth determined by humans, whether they are polytheists or believers? He says, and this is a blessed book which we have sent down, confirming what was before it, so that you may warn the mother of cities and those around it. Those who believe in the hereafter believe in it, and they are constant in their prayers. All right, fine. Here, there were people who read it as wali yanthara, so who is the one doing the warning in this case? The book itself, by the authority of the book. But those who read it as it appears in the book, wali tanthara, that means the words are directed to the Prophet Muhammad. He is the one who will warn, so you will warn. As for those who read it with the wali yanthara, that means the book itself is the one doing the warning. That was the difference in the recitation. So, what does it mean? It means that this Quran is from God, not from the Prophet. Pay attention, the source says verbatim. I'll read you the exact words from the source. It says, the Quran is from God, not from the Prophet. And it adds, it is not unlikely that God granted the Prophet much knowledge, enabling him to compose the words of the Quran with such eloquence. In the rest of the interpretation, it says that the phrase his hands means confirming. Do you get what that is? Yeah, confirming what is between his hands. So this sentence means confirming what is between his hands. Let's take this sentence on its own and put it underneath here. Confirming what is between his hands means, of course, that the book is consistent with, agrees with, and matches what came in the Torah, the Psalms, and the Gospel, all three. So, my friend, confirming means agreeing with and matching what's inside, confirming what came before it. Got it. So what is he saying? What does the source say? He says, the difference between the Quran and the previous books is that the earlier books brought glad tidings about the Prophet Muhammad, introducing him as a prophet and even mentioning his characteristics. Meaning, they said he was coming and described his traits as such and such. Very good. When the Quran came, it contained the same teachings and rules that were mentioned in this verse. The three books, which are the Torah and the Gospel, and the verse is an exact copy. He tells you it's a replica, like, exactly. Very good. All right, so what does it say? What does it add? The source says that since the Quran came identical and in agreement with what was in those three books, God abrogated them. So, as long as you're coming with exactly what already exists, an exact copy, and he says it's identical and in agreement with what was in the three books. All right, if it's just like them, why would you abrogate them? At the very least, sit alongside them, or they should be enough since you're just like them. The source is Mufati al-Gaib by al-Razi. That's very nice. Honestly, the hadith here, pay attention. The hadith here says, a book that we, Allah, have sent down. So here, he goes back to speaking in the first person after previously speaking in the third person. Someone is talking about God here. Using the first person pronoun, he himself goes back to speaking very clearly. Honestly, my question to all the esteemed viewers is, it says, we send it down, a blessed book confirming what is before it. I want to know, before it, what does that mean? This whom, the pronoun it in before it, what is it referring to? And who is more unjust than one who fabricates lies against God, or says, it has been revealed to me, when nothing has been revealed to him? And whoever says, I will reveal something like what God has revealed. If only you could see when the wrongdoers are in the throes of death and the angels are stretching out their hands, saying, release your souls. Today you will be repaid with the punishment of humiliation for what you used to say against God without truth and for your arrogance regarding his signs. That's very good talk. Now, honestly, what is the reason for the revelation here, sir? The reason for the revelation here is actually a very, very important story, and it's probably what I took as the title of this episode. Please pay attention to it, because we're going to break it down a bit, okay? There was a man named Abdullah ibn Ansar. Abdullah ibn Abi Sar. I'm sorry. Abdullah ibn Abi Sar was chosen by the Prophet to do what? To write for him. He was one of the most important scribes, the scribes of the Quran. He used to sit and write for the Prophet, and he was someone the Prophet trusted greatly. The important thing is, this man was very cultured, wrote a book at the end of his life, was a formidable military leader, conquered Libya and Tunisia, and Umar ibn al-Khattab appointed him as governor of Upper Egypt, and then over all of Egypt. In other words, he was a man of great influence and stature. Anyway, what would the Prophet dictate to him? And honestly, this story needs to be revisited. It needs to be understood, re-examined, investigated, and a lot more, because it's actually a pivotal story. The Prophet dictated surah endings. For example, he'd say, and Allah is forgiving, merciful, but right, and Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. He'd change it. If the Prophet said, and Allah is all-encompassing, all-knowing, he'd write, and Allah is thankful, forbearing. That's how he did it. When the Prophet reviewed verses, he wouldn't object. It didn't make a difference. So he said, listen. He replied, yes. He said, listen, O Messenger of Allah. He said, yes. He said, you dictate to me forgiving, merciful, and I write all-encompassing, all-knowing. You dictate thankful, great, forbearing, and I write, for example, pay attention, kind, merciful. I'm changing things up. At the ends of the surahs, I write different things. He told him, it's not a problem, because these are attributes of God, so it doesn't matter if it's all-hearing, all-knowing, or forgiving, merciful. Write what you want. That's very good talk. So, the important thing is, one day the Prophet dictated to him verses 12, 13, and 14 from Surah Al-Mu'minin. What do these verses say? And indeed, we created man from an extract of clay. Then we placed him as a drop of fluid in a secure place. Then we made the drop into a clinging clot. Then we made the clot into a lump. Then we made the lump into bones. Then we clothed the bones with flesh. Then we brought him forth as another creation. The important thing is, Abdullah ibn Abi Sar wrote it down after him. And he was very impressed by this verse, by its structure, its rhyme, and all those things. So, what did he say? So blessed is Allah, the best of creators. He was commenting, expressing his admiration and praise for God's words and all that. So the Prophet told him, right, so blessed is Allah, the best of creators. At the end of the verse, this is how God revealed it to him. He said to him, my brothers, I was the one who just said that. He replied, no, this is how my Lord revealed it to me, exactly as you said it. Anyway, the man started doubting the whole thing, and he thought to himself, or maybe even said to others, so it was revealed to someone else too? He told them, a Quran was revealed to Muhammad just like what was revealed to him by God, and he left the verse, left Islam. That, sir, was the reason for the revelation of the verse. So then the text in front of you was revealed, which is what? Let me get you the text. Yeah, sorry. Let me get you the text because I tend to forget. Yeah, So, the text you see in front of you was revealed when the man said to him. So, he said, blessed be Allah, the best of creators. He told him, write it at the end of the verse. He replied, but I'm the one who said it to you. He said, no, God is the one who told it to me. The man doubted the whole matter, left Islam, and ran away. He went to Mecca. So then the verse was revealed. That's the reason for the revelation in a nutshell. All right. Anyway, after our guy left, he went to Mecca and caused a scandal there. He told them, he dictates to me, the all-forgiving, the most merciful, and I write, the mighty, the strong, the mighty. You see, And in the end, I tell him myself that I've been changing the verses he's been dictating to me for years. And when I tell him, he just says, these are all attributes of God. It doesn't make a difference. Then he comes back to me and recites the Surah of creation. So I say to him, so blessed be Allah, the best of creators. He tells me, put it at the end of the verse as part of it. And I'm the one who said it to him, not God who revealed it to me. Anyway, sir, when he went and made that scandalous verse, God sent down a verse about him, which is in Null 106. Whoever disbelieves in Allah after having believed, except for someone who is compelled while his heart is secure in faith, but whoever opens his chest to disbelief, upon them is the wrath of Allah, and for them is a great punishment. Anyway, so when he went there, this verse was also revealed to him in Surah An-Null, and it was a huge disaster, a really big disaster. The Prophet then issued a decree against him, telling them, whoever encounters Abdullah ibn Abi Sar, kill him, cut off his head. He said, all right, O Messenger of Allah. So, what does this text in front of you mean? It means that whoever lies about Allah and claims that God sent a prophet, or says that God revealed words to him, or says that verses like the ones God revealed have come down to him. Pay attention, all of these people, O Muhammad, you will see them while they are in the throes of death, and the angels are stretching out their hands, meaning they are beating them with sticks on their faces and backs as their souls are being taken out, on their faces and their behinds. And the angels are demanding that they extract their own souls themselves, with their own hands like this. Are you paying attention? The important thing is, who, sir, is telling this whole story? Our source here is Jamie al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran by El-Tabari. I have a question here. So it says, and the angels are stretching out their hands, saying to them, here. The pronoun means they're saying to them, extract your souls. Your souls here means your spirits, people. Is there anyone who can take out their own soul? It is God who takes the souls, isn't it? Honestly, this part really caught my attention. Is that even possible? And you have come to us alone, just as we created you the first time, and you have left behind all that we had bestowed upon you. And we do not see with you your intercessors whom you claimed were partners with God among you. The ties between you have been severed, and what you used to claim has deserted you. The real reason for the revelation is that Al-Nader ibn al-Harith said, Al-Lat and Al-Uzza will intercede for me, so the verse was revealed. That was the reason for the revelation. It means God is telling them, you have come to us. And here, in fact, he is telling them, you have come to us just as your mothers gave birth to you, and you have left behind wealth, servants, attendants, and all those things, even your connections to. Everything you had in this world has been cut off. The source here is Fath al-Qadir by al-Shawkani. And here, God is speaking in the first person. Once again, so the question here is, was this done to say to them you have come to us in the past tense? Thank you very much. Goodbye, and I'll see you again soon.